This is the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. Those of you who know me from a previous life back in the 1990s know that I can pull the numbers to get people to protest. I got the first Washington, D.C. all weekend permit at Lafayette Square. But this past weekend, I felt a little bit pulled in to things I didn't believe in. I did not feel that I was lending myself to a movement, but rather being dictated how I should move. If you do know me in real life, you also know that my integrity and my values cannot be compromised under any circumstances. If you've gone to protests with me or actions with me in the 1990s, you know that I am absolutely willing to put my life on the line for what I believe in. So when things are said that go against this, I have to back off, reassess, regroup, and get self in order. And that's what I did. So today, I was watching the protest in Los Angeles. I was not pleased. Part of the reason that what is happening there now is happening is people are not focused at all on the law. The governor is, certain individuals are, but the people who are protesting aren't focused either, because they don't know their individual rights. Today I saw a film where a guy was in the street surrounded by at least 5 horses being stomped by police officers, by their horses stomping this guy. So what I'm saying is, this can be construed as the horses got upset and they stomped this guy because he was making noise or whatever. This is not acceptable. These kinds of behaviors are not sustainable. I saw videos of people being pulled out of peaceful crowds and whipped onto the ground by LAPD. And at the same time, it's being broadcast on CNN and MSNBC. They take time out of their day because Donald Trump is going to make a statement. And he's talking about all the killings in Los Angeles. The killings of who? The deaths of who? Who died? Now, when something happens to someone like George Floyd, we can say his name. Why isn't that the Trump regime and Republicans, ever since he came into power the first time, cannot name names of all these people being assaulted, brutalized, and killed? If all these police officers are being assaulted, why are they not taking off their masks, getting on TV, and telling their story? Like Michael Fanone and Harry Dunn. That's what real police officers do. You know how I know this? Because I come from a law enforcement family, and I come from a military family. And every single solitary family, every generation, has contributed to this nation since 1492. That's the blood that goes through my veins. So I don't know what everybody else is seeing and feeling and all this kind of stuff, but we've been here since 1492. And we have donated our bodies to this country. We have not been deterred by rumors, lies, and media. And we don't watch the same thing over and over and over again, so it gets embedded in our brains. And we now think Jake Tapper is okay because he was once on CNN and now he's MAGA. We don't do that. Because most of my family were already here. I am immune from the propaganda that most of you believe. I am immune from laws that protect only white people and seeing that as justice. I don't see that, so I don't understand what some of you are seeing. That being said, I watched a podcast today where, and I'm going to leave names out of this, a black man from Louisiana who is gay and an ex-DC police officer brought up the fact that, if you can believe this, if you show up on June 14th, Donald Trump, and I'm paraphrasing, the way it was back in Nazi Germany and you're going to be killed. That's basically what he's saying. You're going to see, whatever, like you've never seen before, and we're coming down hard and we're going to do this and do that. If you protest, he didn't say peacefully. He didn't say if you loot, if you burn stuff. He said if you come there and interrupt his birthday party on June 14th, the Army and the Navy and every other military operation is going to be unleashed on you. That's what he led me to believe by that threat. Is a person whose ancestors were here way before Donald Trump was even contaminating this land with his genes. My people fought for your rights. And now, I ask white folks who are sitting here celebrating because, all these people are being deported and, you got the blacks out of your neighborhood and all this kind of stuff. How do you feel now when you can't afford anything? But the better question is, who do you think you are? Because you got this? Really? What grit do you actually have? In order to feel power, you have to follow someone. You need a leader. The rest of us don't need that. Harriet Tubman didn't need a leader. She was a leader. Martin Luther King didn't need a leader. He was a leader. What do you actually contribute to America besides hate and rules? And I'm not just asking white people this that are Republicans or Democrats. I'm asking everyone. If in this moment you can't speak up for people like me that look like me, you contribute nothing. You do absolutely nothing. And I'm talking to the highest echelon of government. We know Donald Trump is pretty much a fuck wasted. So I'm going to leave it at that. So is J.D. Vance. Steve Miller is just the Antichrist. Let's leave them out of this equation. The Republican Party and the Republican Congress right now, you may feel like you can get on TV and you can talk stuff, and the cabinet members and all them, and you feel powerful right now. But look at yourself in the mirror, and I don't think you can, because you're weak, soulless, pathetic individuals. So you're going to latch on to Donald Trump because you need something to feel validated about yourself. But yourself is nothing. You're an empty shell of nothing. You are generations of hate that has been bred out by people like me. And what you are trying to do right now is so hilarious. And the reason why I know it is because the same things are happening that happened right before the American Revolution and the Civil War, where everybody felt that they had no, recourse. They had no power. And yet, the people you still call stupid today, the people you still consider inferior, were instrumental in kicking your motherfucking ass during the Civil War. Yes, black soldiers. I'm talking about the colored regiment. I am talking about Mr. Shaw, that the Shaw neighborhood in Washington, D.C. is named after. He was the first commander of black troops during the Revolutionary War. And they almost kicked your ass. But they gave their lives so dumb white motherfuckers like you could win the Revolutionary War and then come back and discriminate against black people again. A black woman put together the COVID vaccine that saved all of your lives, while your dumb white president was telling you it was all a hoax. What part of the Okie Doke don't you understand? I just really don't get that about white people. Just like peanut butter, the cotton gin, and Jack Daniels, which you enjoy, all these things were invented by black people. But yet, you think Whitey's gonna send you, a check in the mail. And he's gonna make your life better. Almost exclusively, everything you enjoy has been developed or invented by someone who came from another country after your dumb asses lost the Civil War. Candy came from an Italian that you enjoy, that you like. Cocaine from Colombia that a lot of you enjoy and like. Alcohol came from all over the world that you enjoy and like, and don't produce anymore the way you used to. Now you like your textiles produced in China, and you like your steel made in China. But you think that by hating people of color, that's going to bring industry back. Excuse me. My best advice to white people who still think this is your path, keep hating on us. Keep it up. Not only are you in the minority, but this could turn on you. That's not a threat. It is a prediction. Because every nation where this happened, excuse me, the people that perpetrated these crimes were punished, except in the United States of America. Now, if my grandchildren are in charge then, this might be a different story. By the way, the reason why I'm coughing right now is I have an autoimmune disease that was brought on during the Trump administration when people that were supposed to be taking care of Social Security, the budget was cut. So I'm sure if you know anything about Social Security, you've followed Martin O'Malley, who made a statement recently that that long time ago, these people were understaffed. So as a result, I spent 10 years trying to get Social Security for the autoimmune disease that I have. But I digress. I don't want to get into that because this is not about me. After I watched that podcast that I watched today, and I made my decisions about this last weekend, I have decided that since Donald Trump has threatened to basically kill us in the streets of D.C., I would like to go there with my camera, because I'm more of a photographer than a filmer with cell phones. I'm going to go there as a photographer and document the first killing of an American citizen by a person of the military. That's why I'm going there. And I'm also going there to support the D.C. police officers and the Capitol Police that were brutalized on January 6th. Yes, I'm going there on June 14th, Saturday, to protest this action, this nonsense, and this foolishness. I would like to close by saying that I'm a little disenchanted by something I saw tonight, and I would like to address Latino people, especially and black people right now, because I saw something that it was a little take at the airport, where this Latino guy said, I like Trump, but I don't understand why he's deporting all, these people from Mexico and South Americans. Why do you still like Trump? Hopefully, you don't have any family members who are still struggling to be citizens, paying taxes, and not getting any health care or any other benefits from doing that. But I'm going to assume that you are speaking unilaterally for what you believe in. I'm going to assume the same about black people who supported Trump. So if you're in a mindset where it's all about you, and then you want to get upset and pissed off because black people don't support your movement when one of your family members gets deported, or Latinos don't support black people when something happens to them, this is not rocket science. My relatives have been here since 1492 at least. If you believe for one moment that these people want you here, you are a fool. Second, if you believe that you're going to be accepted or white because you got on camera and said you like Donald Trump, you're another fool. Slaves tried that back in the day and failed. When it came right down to it, those same slaves that were freed, that were house masters, they were house Negroes, as we call them here in the South, were executed later for either speaking out, having too big a farm, making too much money, or any of that, or becoming profitable in what was supposed to be white America. My own great-great-grandfather was driven off of his land that he owned in North Carolina out of jealousy by white planters doing the same thing that did not make a profit from their land. This is real. This is now. This is history. And you don't get it. Because if you just came here, you're all about this bullshit. Some white guy told you about the American dream. But you're being utilized to facilitate the same people that promised you this to oppress you, to line their pockets. You were sold a bill of goods. And I'm going to wrap this up by saying something about something that pissed me off to no end today. And it's in your face. If you are black in America and you hear this message, or you're a Latino in America, or Native in America, and you hear this message and it's okay with you, then you're not only a fucking idiot, but you deserve exactly what you get. If we are not able to save you from this asshole and his administration. Donald Trump went to Fort Hood on the eve of his little birthday celebration in Washington, D.C. He was surrounded by military people. Some clapped. Some people were smiling. I saw 2 black people in the whole audience and they were just like grinning like chess cats. But at any rate, his statement was that not only was he going to liberate Los Angeles, but he was also going to rename all of the bases that Biden sought to rename because they were named after traitors, Confederates. Every one of those bases that have been renamed by Joe Biden and his administration for more American people and heroes, he has decided he's going to spend our tax dollars, mine and yours, without my input, to name them after the traitors of the Confederacy they were originally named for. Now that's small potatoes, you know, from what we've been talking about people being snatched up on the street. But we have to live with this bullshit when it's done. The worst of the worst was Fort Lee in Virginia. It is now named Fort Greg Adams, after a black man. He is not going to rename it Fort Lee. He's going to rename it Fort Robert E. Lee. So it's in everybody's fucking face. That is despicable and disgusting. If you go to Germany right now and you want to talk about the Nazi occupation and the slaughter of Jews, they want to forget that history. They don't put up relics to that history. In America, we do. We claim this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, but we are the most racist nation in the world. And we always have been. Because everything that is American has been on the back of the weak and the colored. And I say colored in color of your skin. And we're going right back to that. It is absolutely disgusting. So if you're military or you're a person of color, you're not getting anything out of this. You're getting fucked over 10 ways to Sunday. The difference between me and you is I read and I analyze and I understand getting fucked over. Then I understand my enemy. Then I listen to his words and I look at his actions and I assess my behavior according to it. Not some organization's manifesto. I have a family. Some of you do, but you don't care enough about them to care enough about what you are doing and how you are doing it. Now, every guy or woman everywhere must do something different based on where they live. I get that. People have to take risks. But I guarantee you, I can almost promise that in the name of Donald Trump, on June 14th, at the end of a gun of a member of the United States military, someone is going to get killed. I hate to say it, but that's where this is going. Now, I already told you in previous podcasts that he was going to institute the Insurrection Act, whether you're peaceful or not. He didn't actually say the words, but he's done that. So I was right about that. So what we need to do as a society is stop spewing shit online and on YouTube. Stop saying this is that and this is this and this. You know, just plan something, let it happen, and shut the fuck up. That's what we need to do. Everybody has their own job. Now, if people get arrested, they get arrested. If people get shot, which is probably going to happen, they already knew that going there. They already expected that. But 9 times out of 10, when things are burnt up, or you got cars burning, or some looting going on, and all that kind of stuff, it's Donald Trump's people coming out there after curfew, or after nobody can see it. Always happens in the dark. Just like during the George Floyd protests. These are outside instigators making it look like the people that are protesting are doing this shit. We know that. This time we're going to have it on film more than we did last time, because I'm going out there to take pictures of these sons of bitches. So you need to do the same thing if you can. So be safe, but whatever you do, if you're military, if you're a white activist, if you're Latino, or anybody else, don't fall for the fucking okie doke. Don't let somebody dictate how you respond. I, for one, am not getting stomped on the street by 5 horses. Now, whatever that leads to, I don't know. but I'm not doing it. So if you call that me not being peaceful, that's your problem, not mine. At the end of the day, I'm going home one way or another because I have people to take care of. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have the luxury of not doing that. But I do. I have all my life, and I will continue to do so. That's it for now. Good night and good luck.